Hewitt's there cranking along, our electric, I guess, increasing their monthly rate, and they're okay with that.
Yeah, we're having to work through the legal stuff.
Look here, financial part, this is Kier Weimer.
I know, it's fine. It's like-
I'll explain your.
No worries. Okay, do we want to continue, want to switch back or?
Well, let's finish up the thought at least.
Okay, so it was, yes, with our electric, CBRE is working on final negotiations and we'll be working with Kara to get the lease modified. So that's underway.
And we have a couple prospects and speak for interest in the site. One of them,
We'll talk about in the executive session.
part of that, and the other one, the whole thing. So, no detail. With that executive session, other than that. it is what it is.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add on to that is we did learn from Dave O'Brien that Washington County is working through the New York State Association of Counties for a $9 million request for the stormwater offset. There's no guarantee that they'll get the funding and we won't know until April or May. Meanwhile, we'll still work with the other alternatives that we explored. So there is a remote possibility we could get some funding for that stormwater offset, or not we, I should say, the Washington County Sewer District will get it, which is necessary offset for us to do the connection with Canal Side. So we'll see how that unfolds.
So one of the questions we did ask the sewer district, and this is very much a guess, is if they restarted H1F1 in the summer, should all the funding, there's another grant in December that they should know about. If they get receive all the funding that they need in order to get the folks in the sewer district to move forward, when will construction complete look like? And right now, that's looking as a probable 2027 construction complete, which then gives a, then our project has to be complete. So sewer could be a little bit longer, still on track for water for next year. And we could run concurrently. There's a lot of things that we can do, but just it's
Maybe begin, if they,
Yeah.
if they have the money in place and while they're proceeding with that, we talk EC, we'll see, we just put the time in.
concurrently and then tying in hopefully in 2027 instead of doing each one independently. So lots of options that we still have to look at, but sewer is a much longer lead time now at this point because of
Water, see. So,
should be finished for next year. All right, we will pause the canal side updates with that, and then I will turn it over to Chuck to talk the North Creek, New York Resort OpCo LLC resolution.
Okay, so we're here to talk about the acceptance of the application from the legal entity that's associated with Weekender Hotels, founded and led by Kier Weimer, who's here with us today. Thank you for coming. A little bit of background, Weekender Hotels currently manages 7 other hotel properties, including the successful Alpine Lodge located in North Creek, not more than a half mile down the street from the subject property. Weekender Hotels is looking to purchase, renovate, and reopen a hotel at 307 Main Street, North Creek, formerly known as the Copperfield Inn and then the Phoenix Inn. The current resort was built 34 years ago and has had 4 owners that have experienced difficulty in successfully operating the resort hotel. Weekender Hotels is looking to invest $3.5 million in the property, 1.8 to purchase, and 1.3 to renovate, and then $400,000 in other costs. Weekender Hotels will continue to pay base property taxes, currently about $35,000 a year. Before I go into explaining the incentives and the benefits, I'll now turn over to Kier to talk a little bit about his business and the vision for the property and questions. So with that, Kier, it's all you.
Great, thank you, Chuck. It's been great to work with you. Thanks everybody for entertaining this request and application. Much appreciated. To follow on what Chuck said, so we've been in North Creek since May of 2020, owning and operating the Alpine Lodge. It's a 19-room kind of boutique hotel right next to Barbino on Main Street, if anybody's familiar. It's a black hotel with red doors. We bought it at the height of COVID. A few weeks before we closed, a banker called me and said, "Are you sure you can do this?" And I told him, yes, I do. I think I can see around the corner. I think we're gonna be okay. First 2 months it was absolutely silent. Okay. Maybe I made a mistake here. But then it was off to the races. So that August of 2020 until really just recently having a little bit of, I should say, normalization of demand. We've really seen a huge exodus out of the cities. Seeking fresh air environment, seeking the mountains, right? Seeking the lakes, seeking the outdoors from leisure travelers. And so I started this company in the following spring of 2021, bought our third property in Lake Placid that May 2021, and then went on to acquire several more. So we have 8 properties now, actually, but 7 are upgrading. We have a project in Saratoga Springs we're working on Broadway, South Broadway. And the Adirondacks is very near and dear to me. Grown up there, with Old Forge, 3 generations. My family's had a camp up there. Grew up outside of Syracuse, went to SU, went to NYU for grad school. Won't worry about that detail, but I really saw an opportunity to take what we were doing at the first location before we became an idea. So that was in Old Forge. I bought it. It was working on Fourth Lake in 2015. COVID came, started to reset travel preferences. I saw leisure changing, and I saw an opportunity to do what we did successfully at one place and to build a bit of a brand company around it. So that's what we did. And now we've successfully acquired, renovated, and launched now 8 properties. This would be the 9th. And we employ about 95 people. We're creating a lot of jobs in these small rural communities. We are creating a lot of jobs in Saratoga County and a lot of jobs in Warren County and in North Creek. This would have several jobs, not only on the short-term construction, but long-term, full-time in the areas of housekeeping, maintenance, managerial, food and beverage, and events. And what's most exciting to us about this property location is the ability to breathe life back into what we view as a pretty good structure. It was built in 1990. It's actually in really good shape. It's just outdated, so it feels very 1990. And so we're going to kind of put our flavor on it, fully renovate everything from the rooms to the cover to the exterior. Part of our plan is to launch a bit of a social health and wellness club to open this up for the public locally. So not just a guest staying with us. We want to give them access on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, whatever plan they like to choose. Very moderately priced, access to a renovated gym, spa, pool, hot tub, pickleball courts, discounts in the restaurant, and really just make it kind of a connection to the community. That community is so great, but it's doesn't have a lot of options for restaurants, food and beverage, and all the things I just said. So we're excited to be able to offer that as soon as June when we launch a new reimagined property that will be have a name changed. We do have the blessing and the support of Kevin, the town supervisor, which is great. He asked us respectfully to consider calling it Copperfield, the original name. I told him I can't commit to that, but I can commit to not calling it the Phoenix. He was somewhat happy.
Very happy.
So yeah, he is. But it's a really cool property. It's on a great piece of real estate on the center of town on Main Street, but it's just kind of been mismanaged for a while. And it's been a bit of a thorn in locals side in government and in all the business leaders by nobody coming in that really is operating the potential. That area is also underserved from a standpoint of rooms. So it's a ton of short-term rentals, Airbnbs, small bed and breakfast, 3, 4, 5 rooms, and then also the elephant lot. So we feel that now we can professionalize the accommodation inventory for people, which will also drive, we think, more tourism, more local spending, more sales tax for the long run, and just be a really good investment all around for government residents and obviously the guests that stay with us. So we're excited about the project. I will say it's become the budget to renovate and the project cost as a whole has become more costly and burdensome for a few reasons. The scope of it, 33,000 square foot building, the scale of it, and also just the market, right? So, we're in now, it's unfortunate because we're closing on this property in the next month, and over just the last 6 weeks, interest rates have gone up another 60 basis points. So now, that becomes tens of thousands of dollars more expensive every year. And meanwhile, we have, inflation still on construction materials and contracts with contractors. So it has, the original budget was around just, $1 million, and now it's, 1.3, which we're approved for. But a big part of making this successful is really the support of government, the support of hopefully this board and organization, and the support of the local community that wants to see this happen. So we're trying to build consensus around that and around the end product. And we feel that we have a track record that shows that we, mean what we say and we do what we say. We've done it 100 yards down the road successfully. So, here today to ask for the support. Chuck's been great to work with on helping to get the application to its current state, for statement of findings. I'm sure everybody's reviewed. And happy to answer any questions you want, plan, strategy, or vision beyond what I've said. And we just love to have everybody's, support behind what we think is going to be a very successful project for the area.
Any questions, please? I'll go through the incentives in a few minutes, but any questions so far for Kier?
Yeah, I'm just curious, I applaud you for stepping out and undertaking this, doing this undertaking. What's your vision for the future there? Is it gonna be the number of rooms that it is now? Your vision, or do you expect to expand?
Good question. So right now we're focused on making what's there better, operable, modern, and renovated. And then a phase two, would likely come in year 3 or 4, would be to find a way to add additional units. And that would come because of the way that the lot sits, the added, with the acreage in the back and equipment allows for that. So I think for us, seeing how the renovation, the relaunch, the ramp up and the stabilization of that operation works would then allow us to have confidence to continue to invest in that property in that area. So the long answer is yes, but it's just let's focus on what we have first. And then kind of that'll be this too.
And so the key word there, confidence. Here, what do you think about the history? In other words, the person that came in and developed that, had great vision.
Yep.
We're gonna do this and then more toward, the mountain or and all that. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on why that didn't work before, or, for various reasons, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
Good question. I think 2 main reasons why that probably never reached its potential. One is I think it was overbuilt and it was early for its time, meaning it was overbuilt for where the market was.
I agree.
And it was also, I think, undermanaged in terms of how it was run, not by professional hospitality. And then the third reason would be that communities suffered from kind of a lack of infrastructure investment as well. It only recently had reliable self-service the last 3 years. They're still working on public, sewer. There's just a lot of the public infrastructure that's not there that would give people like myself and others the confidence to invest millions of dollars in there. So I think those 3 things are probably the main reason. But those 3 things don't have to be true forever. And so we're, excited about changing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You got some good press this last weekend.
Yeah, we saw that.
That's nationwide.
Yeah.
It was an AP.
Yeah, we saw that.
It helped.
For sure it does. You got a lot of calls and people reaching out after that.
They were looked at as the least expensive place to go skiing.
Yeah.
They don't steal. They don't steal.
Or,
Don't steal.
you're right, in Gorse, I think what's nice about going North Creek, it's a very accessible ski market area.
Yeah.
And it's not priced or in many ways unattainable for a lot of the traveling public, like Lake Placid or Stones, right? So we like that about it. It's also very close to a lot of people, millions of people in the tri-state area.
Right.
A million people just in Albany, Skagit, Florida, it's an hour away. So I think for us too, there's also no national competitorship. So we have a chance to really be successful by putting, kind of like our flag, if you will, down and building on the success we had 100 yards away, because that's actually been our best performing hotel. And people thought it was crazy doing that in COVID and in North Creek. And I said, no, there's a lot of potential here. And I think for the last 4 years, we built it.
I think you're exactly right, your assessment. I think it was somewhat ahead of its time.
Yes.
Now, I've been there many times, I have season pass, Gore have had for years, so
That's it too.
I spent a fair amount of time, and I've been to this inn many times. And I always liked it, kind of looked at it and said, gee, why isn't this place
Right.
doing better than it is? I think some of the reasons, all the reasons you stated, plus the improvements that have been made in North Creek, that area, I think are gonna help it be more viable.
We agree. Yeah, we're excited about it.
that what you broke your leg?
Don't get us off
Nice,
track.
Nick. Great.
Are we, Mr. Chairman, are we going to talk about business plan now or later?
No, jump in now.
So what are you expecting for occupancy rates through this year?
Yep, so we intend, as of right now, we're intending to close early December, potentially as late as 15th, middle of December. We have a mortgage commitment in hand from our banking partner, Zaki National Bank. We have our operational team for the organization and wait fully complete.
How big is that team?
So right now, we have a full-time general manager that's been hired and been working out of our Saratoga headquarters for a month and a half, 2 months now, building the entire staffing plan, operational plan to get open plan. He is then supported by a full-time head of maintenance and facility there, a full-time head of food and beverage, and then in the corporate office, head of sales, so selling group events like weddings, and corporate offsites, our director of operations, and our head of finance, and then there's the hourly team that we're gonna start hiring, putting on job descriptions probably this week now, but we have more commitment and have guidelines of what we're gonna close. Now, we won't open just because we're closed then, and we own the property, we won't open them. We're targeting an opening right before New Year's. And then we're gonna open and operate it as is, as the Phoenix, while we're starting renovations by end of January, the common areas, the ballroom, the events, the basement, the, gym, all that. We're gonna stay open so that people have optionality this winter, which is the busiest season in North Korea, to stay there. And then we're gonna close the hotel for about 8 weeks on April 1 after the winter. Do a run through all the rooms with our crew, and then we're gonna reopen with a huge, event. We'd love for you guys to be involved. We'll do, get local government officials, maybe some kind of a ribbon cutting, and really make it a fun press event for the public, invite local business leaders. And that would reopen sometime in early to mid-June, right ahead of the summer season. And the team full-time would be on the ground there, about 4 full-time equivalents, and then another, based on season, another 5 to 12 part-time between housekeeping, event staff, maintenance. So all in, we're gonna be creating about, anywhere from 10 to 15 jobs depending on season.
All management live in town?
Yes, and our general manager will live on property, so we're renovating a suite there for him. So that's really good for guest service and safety for him to live there full-time.
If I could jump in, if I could add on the occupancy rate, we asked for an estimate of the economic impact. And so Kira's finance team did come up with specific occupancy numbers. So the average for year one in the application is 39%.
Yeah, I really didn't go answer your question.
Yeah, and I just add in, then year two goes up to 48%, year three, 52%.
It starts to
It sort of
normalize.
planes off at
50s,
50%. So those are the occupancy numbers that were, that was part of the application. Yeah.
It is in here, and then that's okay, and that's assuming that we have a lot of rooms offline while we're renovating. We're closed for 2 months to close down on average. But then we believe by the end of year two, we can start to get closer to what Alpine Lodge does, which is low to mid 50% occupancy year round, which Adirondack Tower is actually really good. So from like 5 points in summer and winter, fully sold out on Friday, Saturday, looks like weekends, and then 50 to 60 in the week. But then we have really quiet months in April, November, and those are like mid-teen percentage, so really pulls the average down. Yeah, but we're annually about a low. And when this is stabilized at the end of year two, early year two, we feel this will be about us there.
What's your mortgage structure?
Yep, so we are financing the approximately $3.5 million project cost with a 70% loan to value. So the loan is about a $2.2 million exchange loan from Coxsackie National Bank commercial loan. We are investing personally just under $1 million in equity and cash. And then yeah, so myself and a few investors. Yeah. And then we are counting on support from this organization, from Coxsackie Bank in terms of a working capital line of credit to help with operational startup costs. And then that is kind of the full capitalization to get to the 3.5. Yep.
And that line of credit will use throughout.
Correct. Yeah, we're gonna keep it open and use it at the facility. Yeah, for various seasonality needs. Yeah. Yeah. The bills keep coming in when there's somebody there in April.
I'm Craig Leggett, Manchester.
Oh, okay, nice to meet you.
So I-
Oh, great, okay. Nice to meet you. Thank you for the question.
This is definitely a welcome opportunity in North Creek. I was just reading in that Adirondack Explorer. Did you see that article about Warren County and their strategic plan with recreational?
Yeah.
Number one is what?
We-
Our limiting factor.
And we sit on the committee, and we point out to that committee that we, the IDA, supports them indirectly, including through things like what we're doing here with Weekender Hotels. Yeah, it's a great move for the county.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I answer any other questions? I'm happy to. I've got time if anybody has, or, you know, again, Chuck to put together a comprehensive report here, and I'm happy to also, if there's any follow-up questions.
Yeah, let me jump into the numbers real quick and then we can circle back with questions. So just for everyone's edification, I know it's in the finding statement, but let me go through real quick. 3 investment incentives. We have an enhanced pilot to not pay incremental property taxes on the $1.3 million. And by the way, that's phase 1. I know we did talk about phase 2. Phase 2 is not in this application, just for clarity purposes. This not paying incremental property, remember I said the base is 35,000, but there'll be no incremental. The investment of 1.3 million, if all that was accessible, it'd be $21,000 a year as far as a benefit, and obviously $210,000 over 10 years as far as the benefit with the enhanced pilot. And by the way, as you know, with the enhanced pilot, the town needs to be part of the approval process. We have had a conference call with the town supervisor, and we are teed up to go in front of the town of Johnsburg tomorrow evening for their approval. Continuing on with the benefits, we have the sales tax abatement based on $585,000 estimated purchases. Subject to sales tax, the estimated benefit is $40,964. The third benefit, mortgage tax abatement based on the financing loan of the $2.3 million. The estimated benefit is $22,900. That is 1%, not 1.25%, because we learned technically the 0.25% is with the CDTA agreement that Warren County, and we cannot waive that. So we're only waiving the 1% of the 1.25%. The total 3 benefits is $275,000 rounding over 10 years, but that is before administrative and legal fees of at least $30,000. The benefits to the local economy are significant, and let me just quickly go through that. Obviously, supporting the regional tourism industry, including the outdoor recreation endeavor with Warren County. Generate an estimated 15 local construction jobs valued at over $740,000. Generate construction material sales with estimated value over $580,000, with 25% sourced in Johnsburg and 75% sourced in Washington and Warren County. Create an estimated 4 full-time equivalent positions and 12 part-time. Total estimated wages and benefits of $600,000 per year. Generate non-local visitor spending estimated over $16.5 million across 10 years. It will start out at 0.9 million in year 1 and gradually increase to 1.3 million in year 10. Generate non-local visitor sales and occupancy tax estimated over $1.4 million over 10 years. And when you take all these benefits I just explained, the cost benefit ratio is 1 to 70 with a 75% conservative factoring. So to make this really very evident that we've got these numbers, but we're using conservative factoring, recognizing 75%. The net present value for community benefit over 10 years is over $14.7 million, again, with that 75% conservation, the conservative factor. So those are the community and economic impacts. And with that, I'll say, are there any further questions or comments?
Well, we'll go back to what you saw at the beginning. Market. You're in a good spot, but you need to have market. Your people have that. Is there a chamber there? There's what you need to have market. You've got skiing, you've got a railroad, it's a beautiful place. But somebody's gonna talk about that.
I know, and a lot of that, I think, in that area falls on the operators. We don't have necessarily like, if you're familiar with the organization called Roots up in Sarah Lake, and Lake Placid. I don't know if their charter mandate even covers as far as us Warren County, so yeah, it probably doesn't. So we spend, like 4 to 5% of revenue on marketing, so a significant amount, that's gonna be $40,000 to $50,000 a year on promoting this destination, this property in this area. But it would be great if we could find ways to create partnerships with, nonprofits, NGOs and government to help with just the general destination market, right? Because I feel like Gore and North Creek particularly, they're kind of like the second child to Lake Placid and Whitefish in terms of the dollars, the governor's focus, WORDA, all of that. So it'd be nice if we could start to like balance. I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna call for
We have an idea.
it. Yeah.
So there is, when I speak to any supervisor in the room. And you've been in on this too. We're applying for $50,000 between Horicon, Chester, and Johnsburg, pull together identity branding for our northern area there. Horicon and Chester have summer, Johnsburg has winter and summer as well, but so just to combine, because outside of Whiteface and Lake Placid, you also have the Lake George Basin.
Right.
That sucks up a lot of interest in our county, so the First Wilderness Heritage Corridor has been worked on by the county plan for the past 20 some odd years, and it's a card that can be used, but there needs to be something more that identifies our area. Roost, who is employed by Essex County to come out with the branding for the different regions, has just to the north of us, Minerva Swing Lake, they're in, they call that region the hub.
Yeah.
Because from there you go all up into the high peak. So we are working on something like that.
Right, and we'll let you know how we can
Participation.
get involved in sport.
Maybe let us support to the,
Yeah.
to the committee.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at this in a couple weeks. If that is the application.
Yeah, maybe you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if we can-
All boats rise together.
And the the North Creek Business Alliance is going through some changes right now. The chamber in Johnsburg and North Creek went defunct a couple years ago.
Okay.
Pretty much. Well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Trish is the president of the Adirondack Region Chamber of Commerce.
Okay,
So covering both Warren and Washington towns.
okay,
So we're in the front row.
yeah.
She just heard the spiel.
All righty.
So,
Any more questions, please? finish
Yeah.
that.
so why the enhanced and not the regular?
Frankly, when we did the regular, it came out about $88,000. And when you look at what is being invested in the property and the risk profile, and we knew we were gonna be talking with the town anyway, so we went to the town first to say, this is what we're thinking, are you comfortable? And the comment back from the supervisor was, this is a no-brainer, we're comfortable. So, it's just the merits of the project right now.
Right, and then also just how the cost have ballooned a bit, and the fact that we feel even in year one, it's like the return on occupancy, bed and sales tax alone is significant, and then all these other collateral benefits over the 10 years are also very significant. Like this property's not open right now. All the money that people will spend that stay with us at restaurants, retail stores, the amount, all of those places is significant as well, the tax that all that generates. So I think that articulation was great. I'd forgotten that it was actually that large, and that's, I think, even conservative in a way.
Yeah.
Applying that 75% is just to be kind of safe.
Yeah, and I think the town supervisor and other people in town board are very concerned that building is sitting there dormant. You know, what a building dormant, it just rots.
Yep.
And they also, so taking a bad and renovating and opening and all the prospering activity that will happen when that's reopened, they are very excited. So there was no qualms about the enhanced pilot.
And we also think that last thing that property will, like Alpine Lodge, give send the right signal to other business owners and people that are maybe on the fence or thinking about starting something. We saw that happen after the Alpine Lodge, several new businesses pop up when other people are investing money, taking risk and succeeding. So I think that'll have some downstream collateral effects too. Yep.
Only the town, cutting up the school.
That is correct, although the school is informed, they had a finding statement. But yes, formally it'd be the town board that will do the approval. Presumably will approve tomorrow.
And this applies to the school tax as well.
Correct.
Okay. So, am I reading this right? No taxes above base?
No, above base, they will do the base of 35,000, and the estimate, if the full 1.3 is accessible, is 21,000 a year.
And the base,
33, this right now, I think, base.
the base value,
So
so
it's
that
1.5 something, 1.5.
you're buying it for what?
For 1.775.
So why don't we set that as base?
Well, well, so you talking about the assessed value of the property? The town is approved keeping it at the current assessed value, which is the one here. I have it
Is
here.
that the EOI? Is that 100%? Or is that percent?
The town recently just did a reassessment, as 2 years, 3 years ago, so it's a fairly recent number. It's 1.5316 is the current base value, and the town supervisor has agreed
Just comfortable with that.
with that value.
And I'm gonna put in my question because I don't agree with giving this exemption to this grade. So I'm gonna have to look for some good justification to allow the business plan is strong, you are meeting the need, we'll have success, and we'll bring jobs. But to put this into context, the Friends Lake Inn was bought several years ago. And they put a lot of money into renovations there. And they did not get any IDA tax support from that. Greg and Sharon, who did you buy it from? Yeah. No, yeah, so they had started that, brought it out of the ashes, no IDA support, et cetera.
Did they request
So did they
it?
request it?
Did they need it?
Did they request that?
I don't know. But the question is, did they need it? And
What do you mean request? Did they request it?
history,
If they didn't request it, what's the point?
Well, they're also dramatically different projects.
because here's the cost, that but everything's relative over time. So, I don't think it's fair to the town, this particular structure, because that town needs, tax base, it needs money, coming
But
to
it's getting,
it.
it's getting all of that, we just went through the benefits that would accrue to the town and.
Right,
generally, so
right.
it's
The-
significant.
Let me follow through on this thought, if I may.
No, please.
Okay,
Just as a reminder, this is the acceptance, not the approval. So just as a reminder, this is just the acceptance, the application. We will have another meeting for approval.
okay, so this is the time to state my
Right,
objection.
yeah.
Yeah.
And bring it forward and back behind this as well. That, the other regular hotel would be 50% upfront, 50% of improvements would be taxable, and then 5% increase for the next 10 years, correct? So that's what you're looking for, an exception from. That would have been the starting rate, and that's what you're saying it's coming in at 80 some odd thousand.
Yes,
instead
the
of
base is correct.
200 and some odd thousand.
Correct.
That, the supervisor is new, this was his first budget year, going through, so I'm sure he's looking for reinvigorating the downtown, but the ripple impact that has on town budget, especially in the town of Johnsburg, I don't think it's fair to them.
Even with the new sales and occupancy taxes that will accrue. And with having those rooms open and all those people that are spending money.
Yes, yeah, and those sales taxes get distributed throughout the county gets 50%. And then the rest goes to the towns based on their assessed value. So if you're not gonna be assessed for your full, $3-4 million value, the town is, not getting its full share of that sales tax.
But they're getting all the other things, right? So it is a quid pro quo. To make it sensible for both parties.
If I could come up with some numbers, so the exemption is $21,000 a year. The benefit of the community is estimated an average of $1.8 million a year. So the community is looking at this and saying, this is very positive for the community. So hence why we're going to the town board to get that ratified.
So it's like, if you look at it, and I hear what you're saying, but I think if you look at it from not what you're losing, but what you're gaining. Right, like, yes, you're losing an incremental amount of tax revenue, but you're gaining a far significant multiple of that from all those things that were done through the study. So it's just that it's an investment.
Did you look at the two other structures that are part of our uniform?
Yeah,
tax
it's,
section?
yeah, it's just all the options. Chuck.
And was there one in between the hotel, the base one, and the one you're asking for now? Was there a mid-ground one? Other eligible projects, 50% exemption for 5 years. 25% exemption for the next 5 years.
So we felt, given the scale of the project, the amount of jobs and the benefit, the amount we're investing in the risk we're taking, that this made the most sense. And that's why we applied for it. And Chuck felt like we were eligible for it based on all the things that he researched and came to the conclusion on his finding statement. And then we made sure that early on get, support, whether he's new or not. I think that support is important, right? Because that building is generating zero tax revenue right now. We have to come up zero. She is approaching bankruptcy and she's not paid anything. So we are actually now going to be paying money. So now it's actually not 33, it's zero. So we're going from zero to the 33,000. Has to be remembered.
The other factor going on is that, as you know, North Creek is about to install a sewer district. And $610, I believe, per EDU. The hotel has like 50 EDUs. If that hotel doesn't hook up and doesn't pay, that will be a very much of a detriment to the new sewer district.
Because it doesn't offset like all the other.
Right, because they're counting on the
Paying
need.
into that, yeah.
Yeah, they're counting on you paying into that sewer district. So there are other factors that the town is thinking about.
And sewer district tax would be at full assessment.
Correct. Special fees all continue. Fire, now will be sewer, EMS, so they all continue.
The town assessor accepted a similar incentive, tax incentive for Etain when they went from 3 million to almost $7 million structure, and it was over a 10-year period. And just a year or so ago, it was resold for $47 million. We were happy to help support and give incentive to that operation, get on to where it is, the level where it is. But seeing it from a town perspective, I think that was a little too generous. It made it a little too hard on the town budget. And that's not fair to all the people in the town. So that's where I'm coming from, questioning this one altogether, balancing it out. You are in a community that provides a lot of services for a lot of people. And this just seems to be too generous.
Even given the total project costs and the risk that we're taking,
Absolutely. Yep. If I factor all that in.
even with all the jobs we're creating and all the tax revenues and the downstream benefit.
Yeah.
Just 270 over whatever the numbers over 10 years is not. It's not like it's all upfront. It's not like we're getting a check and closing. It's helping us over time de-risk the investment and all that has a benefit to the public.
Good. Any more perspective, Craig?
No.
All right, well, so let me add a little bit more perspective as well. So what we're doing here is just moving this application forward. With the caveat, that if the town board approves, then we can have the public hearing and then another discussion on whether or not we will accept this application. Craig's background is supervisor and he's got great perspective. I'll add a little bit myself. Never been a supervisor, just a businessman. And so when these come up for us, I have to weigh the town in question that is going to be impacted their voice more heavily than anything else. And which is important here for us to allow the town to speak at the board meeting next tomorrow. And should they say yes, that this is what they want, for me, that's a vital part of what we do. So all great perspectives, you know. This is why we like him on our board. He's very good at what he does. So I will open it up to any other final questions. Guidance.
Yes, I could, just from a liability standpoint in terms of the financing. Where are you pro forma if you don't get this level of tax incentive, how does that impact your financing on the project in terms of cash
Yeah.
flow?
I mean, significant, just in the last, like I said, 6 weeks, the interest expense has now exceeded over $10,000 a year in additional expense we didn't budget for in plan. So what we would have to do is dramatically reduce our actual capital expenditure budget to reduce the loan amount, reduce the interest expense, and reduce the level of investment in the property, which would also, I think, reduce the impact, the rate we can charge, and the experience to guests in the town. So it has a ton of downstream negative effects.
Any other questions? Kara, guide me a little bit. Our lawyer. Oh, Kara. I said Kara.
Oh,
Not
I
our
said
lawyer.
Kara.
No, Kara. The other K. All right. So as we make the resolution, do we have to caveat that the town board approval tomorrow will allow us to, should it be accepted, allow us to move to the public hearing? Because if the town board says no, then this resolution, how does that work? I just want to make sure I get that process right.
This, resolution references the fact that the, pilot being, requested a good enhanced deviation from the pilot or deviation from the UTEP. The town's approval is required for that. The town's approval is also required if there was any pilot. So, what this resolution, is there on the opt-out list that we don't call an opt-out list, we call it now. So regardless, we would need the town's consent to give any approval on this. This resolution also includes a sales tax exemption piece, a mortgage tax exemption piece, and the enhanced pilot proposal. It doesn't approve anything. The only thing it authorizes is us to conduct a public hearing. My recommendation would not be to categorize it, say we're not gonna have the hearing if the town doesn't approve the enhanced. The town could approve something in the alternative to the enhanced. The town could say, we're okay with sales tax and the pilot, but not mortgage tax. I mean, any number of things could be offered at that point. So my recommendation would be to consent, if you're in agreement, to consent to the application, moving towards a public hearing and having that, opportunity, and then you can discuss whatever was discussed at the town board meeting, whatever additional concerns they may have, whatever concerns the public may have at that point.
Good. All right. So with that said, any final questions before I move on to entertaining the motion? All right. Once again, we are just looking to continue to move this application forward to the public hearing. So with that said, and allow me to finish reading here, I would entertain a motion to accept the resolution for an application for financial assistance submitted by North Creek, New York Resort Opco LLC, the company, relating to a certain project, authorizing a public hearing with respect to the project and describing the financial assistance being contemplated by the agency with respect to the project. Dan, do I have a second?
Awesome.
Nick, any further discussion? Roll call vote, Ally.
Craig Leggett.
Yeah.
Jenny Sullivan.
Yeah.
Nick Carmano.
Yes.
Trisha Rogers.
Yeah.
Tim Robinson. Dan Bruno.
Yeah.
Juan Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion passes.
Okay, Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Yeah.
this consideration.
Please allow Chuck to.
Do we have to do this in person? Determine that. Because there's a retail component, it should be one.
It's
We
for
resolve those.
that, it falls under that.
First one, number one.
So we don't have to.
Not as, it'll be laid out
As part of the resolution, project has a retail component and the agency must make at least one of the following findings. It's a tourist destination within the distressed area, or they will provide product or service that will not be.
Yeah, that finding is ultimately not made until the time of approval.
Oh,
It's all part of the public.
okay,
hearing.
for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sir, thank you so much.
Appreciate your consideration. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All right. No, this is important stuff. It is. This is important stuff. Perspective is good. We're gonna allow each other to give perspectives. All right, see if I can find my agenda. Moving on. All right. Continue on with the reports of committees. Chuck, when you take us through.
So I'll say as far as maintenance update, again, we have Everett, our part-time employee, working on site vegetation. I was there last night. Thoroughly impressed with the work he's doing. So if you drive through the site, you can look at the stormwater basins on the northern part of the property, and they are about to be cleared. And we'll work on the stormwater basins in the southern part. Yes.
What about the crap along in front of the building there and the, along the roadway stuff? I think there's some.
Yeah, there's a one-man show, so he's going after things. What he has done recently is the substation.
Yeah.
That is completely cleared out.
Good.
So, but there are.
But I think that's important. I mean, people aren't necessarily going, I applaud him, he's doing a good job, I'm not understand. But when you drive into the site, the things that you see, when you want to see, like the clean areas in front of the building, to me, that's important.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe you and I can take a drive together. We can,
absolutely,
yeah, love to. Okay.
Access is open
pretty much.
all the time now.
Correct. Well, I mean, they have.
Very busy site.
They have time and gate out toward the road there that says it closes at 3 or 3:30, but with all the activity there, I don't know if they close it.
Yeah, and they have security there 24/7 because those reels are so valuable. So while it's an open site, they do have security driving.
Geez, I was thinking, don't get one.
I just throw in your truck. It might crush the truck. They're pretty big reels. Okay, just to continue on, with tenant updates, the rail activity with grain is very robust. At the end of this week, we'll have 150 rail cars on site. Yeah, which is the biggest I've ever heard. To be unloaded. And apparently, Fort Everett has now been chosen as a storage site, and some of their other storage sites are full. So they're putting a little extra in Fort Everett because Fort Everett has capacity. So that's good for, certainly good for our local economy.
Is that all for us?
They're the ones who are unloading it. Yes, that's correct.
And they unload the grain and go where?
Farmers.
Local.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Western Canada. Grain is already in process. And then where does it go? It goes to here, unloaded in the trucks, and distributed out to farmers, feed stuff.
Yeah. That's it as far as canal side and any updates, unless there are any questions.
One little story here, a guy came to take a look at a carriage, sold the other day. He works for Keyway. Young family and, union carpenter. And, so I plugged with a lot of questions. Where did, he's really Hudson Falls, what was he? Parish. Because, he's down in Gainsborough and has horses. No, sorry, this one was out of Warrensburg. Yeah, so, it's just one of those stories of, are we doing the right thing? Is this all coming around? And here it is on the ground. Young family in Carpenter out of Warrensburg, working here for the next couple of years. Loved it.
I just have one update. The MBRC grant, which is one of 3 grants that we have one final bill for Labella. This was for the flow monitoring. We should have that this week. We'll get that paid. And once we do one final reimbursement, that grant will be 100% expended, so we'll be down to 2 grants at that point. So, and moving along as planned, and then we'll get MBRC wrapped up here in the next month and a half. Anything else, Chuck?
Nope, that's it for me.
Anybody have anything they would like to talk about on canal side or the airport industrial park? All right, anything for ongoing business? One last chance. Any ongoing business? Any new business? One last chance for any new business.
That's right.
Yes, other business. I hand you the floor, sir.
Folks, I'm not gonna go for reelection. No, I'm not gonna go for reappointment to the IDA. I will finish out the year, but my interests take me elsewhere. I do not feel that I can provide the time and fortitude that needs to be done to give this August body what it deserves. Leave it all in good hands. It's been a good 9 years sitting on this board. I've learned a lot, and I was happy to be a part of it all as well. We will continue to stay in the fray on economic development of the North Country and see what we can do to strengthen the vitality of the communities we love so much.
Who replaces you?
That's up to the chairman and the board of supervisors. Another supervisor could be a good one. Somebody from the northern regions of Warren County would also be some nonpartisan person with a brain.
Like I said, see if Bill Thomas wants to come back.
Thank you, Greg, for what you've done, 9 years of service.
Yeah.
Appreciate the perspective. You always bring a different look to things. Not just black and white, like, sometimes people look at things, so it's always good to hear your perspective. Appreciate it.
Good. Well, we hope to get to see you at the end of the year bash in December, right?
That's why I'm staying.
And if you have any investors, just give us a call. Up here in the area. You've got one going on right now, so, yeah, we're here to help your area too, so please let us know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Appreciate the mentorship.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Feels good living in good hands.
All right, any other business? Any public comments?
You going to the show this afternoon?
I will be heading, the 3 of us will be heading down south to Worcester to an IDA Academy to get smarter. We get a chance to mind meld with the economic development professionals of New York State for a day and a half. And it's a great opportunity for us to learn and get what's going on. Where we going?
Crotonville Conference Center. It's about 3 hours south. It's about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours.
It's in Austining, if that helps.
So this is our quarterly IDA Academy with the state and the education that these events bring, and just the mind being able to sit with folks.
Don't forget that who expense,
Yes,
so don't go crazy.
that is correct.
We don't take the corporate jet. Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
All right. Anyone wish to be heard? Final round of public comments. All right, having here none, I will close public comments. We do have an executive session, and I'll ask Kara to take us into exec session.
So, the executive session is to discuss the sale of, the potential sale of two different parcels, the discussion of which, in a public setting could impact the competitive sale path.
Right, so I will, and we will not be taking any action out of the executive session.
No,
So I will entertain a motion to
go
go into exec, so, and then when, okay, so no close, going to executive session. Dan, second,
Oh,
Nick,
yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we are, yes, please.